Well. Now this is, unfortunately for you, if you were not in class, this is part 6 of the reading. Okay, this is the only reading which is different from the ones we've done. I mean, totally different. There are things we can apply to it that we've learned, but it's completely different. So the procedure is quite important in my opinion. Okay, so you have some questions here. You can have a look at them. These are to introduce the topic. Now, in part 6, you will always have this. Okay, you will have 4 writers giving their opinion on something. In this case, it is digital and physical diaries, like writing about your life on social media, as opposed to having a diary on paper. Okay, so they give their opinions. Sometimes it's about an art exhibition, sometimes it's about a book that someone has written, sometimes I don't know, there was one about science applied to the sport or advertising. Anyway, there are any topic that you can get, but normally not very easy topics. I remember there was one about babies, a book about how babies learn, which was quite complicated. I think I have a video for that too, so we may do that one. Okay, so that's what you have. You have 4 writers giving their opinions, and then the task itself is this. Okay, you have questions about, for example, this is what I do. I read who has a similar view to Giannoni. Giannoni is A. Okay, the first one. And then regarding the contents. So the contents is what teenagers actually write. So perhaps someone will say, what teenagers write is rubbish, or what teenagers write may be really useful to gain some insight into their feelings. Okay, so some people will say that it is useful, some people will say that it is not useful. Many times the opinions can be reduced to positive and negative. Like, yes, the contents, okay, I don't know, what you read is worth reading or it's not worth reading. So positive, negative. Okay, so this is what you have to do. Before you read anything, you read the task, okay, so that you know what the text is going to be about, and you start doing this. So different view to the others. This one is difficult because obviously you will need to have the opinion of all 4. This one is easier. You just need to find one who agrees with this one. Here you need to have the opinions of all 4, because 3 will be the same and 1 will be different. Okay, so for you to know that, normally you need to have the opinion of all 4. So it's a bit harder. Now, disclosing personal feelings on social media. This is about social media, not physical diaries. Okay, disclosing is revealing, give that information. Some people will say, yes, it's okay to do that. Other people will criticize those who disclose information or personal feelings. Now, different. So we write different. To Brooks. Brooks is C. Okay. Which one is more lasting? More lasting, which one lasts longer? Okay, so things on the internet disappear, and someone will say the opposite, that once you post something on the internet, it stays forever. Others will say that the diary stays written forever. I don't know. Okay, so they will have different opinions on regarding social media and regarding physical diaries. Okay, so again, you can say, okay, this is positive comments about social media or positive comments about diaries. You can do this. And the last one, so who agrees with Clarkson, who's B, on negative responses. Negative responses on social media means that you post something, I'm really sad today because my cat died, and then some people say, get over it, get a life. Okay, so those are negative responses to a post made on social media. So those deter people. So negative responses deter people, because you have details that something makes you not want to do something. Okay, te disuade. because of that. No? I express my feelings and then people criticize me or people make fun of me. So this is the concept. It is really important, before anything else, that you understand. You try to make an effort to understand the 4 concepts. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult to do the rest. Okay? So far, so good. So this is what I do. I underline the key information and similar view, different, similar, and whose opinion we are seeking. Notice that the extract can be used more than once. That means this one was AC, so perhaps you have A here and then B and C, for example. So one is repeated. Okay, that is physically possible, and it normally happens. In this one, for example, it happens. There's one letter which is written twice, so one letter is not used, but perhaps it's used here. Now you have A, C, and B, so perhaps it has already been used here, but you don't need it here. Okay, so this is the first concept, and this is the first step. Okay, after you have a look at the task, okay, it's about diaries. Okay, you know what the task is about, you do this. Now, the technique is similar to that exercise. I'm going to show it to you. Okay, this exercise where you had to memorize the key points and then you started reading and you found like paraphrases, kind of. Okay, so this is a paraphrase for number 2, this is a paraphrase for number 8. You kept reading and you found paraphrases. Okay, so it's a bit similar. The technique is a bit similar. So you need to memorize this. Okay, there are 4 ideas. It can happen that this Giannoni talks about all 4, or perhaps he talks about all 3, but for sure Giannoni will talk about this one because someone has a similar view to him. Okay, and he will surely talk Aldo. I'm going to assume that Aldo is a man, and he's going to talk about this because we said that here you will have to find all 4 opinions. Okay, so the technique is that you start reading A, looking for this and looking for this, but keeping an eye open. Okay, like paying attention, because you might find information about 3 and 4, because perhaps A is needed here in one of these 2. Okay, so basically you have to memorize these ideas. Okay, so without looking, the 4 points are the contents on diaries, about disclosing, okay, revealing your personal feelings, which one is more lasting, and how negative responses, bad comments, can make people not want to share their feelings online or in a diary. Okay, so you have to remember these 4 points, and the moment you find something referring to any of these 4, you write it down, you mark it in the text, and you write, okay, number 2, and if possible write positive or negative. So this is the objective. You start reading A and you mark positive, negative, number 1, number 2, number 3. Okay, you mark positive and negative, or whatever it is. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. I want you to read A and try to find something about the contents. Okay, Giannoni's opinion, again, about the contents, about disclosing personal feelings, and if possible 3 and 4, because there might be something about 3 and 4. Okay, so go ahead, stop the video, find those sentences, because I'm going to tell you now in 3, 2, 1. So number 2. Okay, this is about disclosing personal feelings. Sorry, this is not, well, it's a little bit. Okay, it's saying that diaries are better than social media. Okay, so this is a bit about disclosing personal feelings on social media. This one has a bit of a negative opinion regarding this. Okay, it was okay. This is about number 2. Okay, so it's like negative for social media, perhaps, but, and that's it, because 2 is about social media. So you have social media, this is a negative comment. Then, for example, here number 1, positive or negative, nothing more. Okay, the content is nothing more than records of childish hopes and ambitions. Childish, remember, was negative, we saw it. So number 1, I'm sorry, but it's difficult to write. Number 1 is negative. Okay, so that's something we needed to find. We need to find 1 and 2. Now there's more information. You have something about 3 here. You have something about 3. Now, since you have 2 types of diaries, you have thankfully, so it's just going to be positive or negative. Thankfully and wonderfully. Notice that adverbs give you some information about how the writer feels. So this is positive. So that's a conventional diary. So conventional diary, positive. Okay. Something that can't be said of our digital footprint. So this is negative. Okay. You can't completely destroy your digital footprint because it's all over the place. People may have taken pictures of what you've posted, so it's out of your control. So A has a positive opinion towards which one is molesting. So okay, this is impermanent. Okay, it's not permanent, so that's positive. The fact that you can destroy it is positive. The fact that you can't destroy it is negative. Okay. And they have some information. This could be a bit number 4. Okay. Because a diary too will be read and its contents certainly made fun of. So, but this is negative responses to, well, and here no? You have this like negative, but it doesn't really say anything about deterring people from keeping diaries. It's really said reluctant, so that is a bit, it deters you, but it's not really clear. But you could say that yes, perhaps that makes people reluctant. Okay, it could be, but it's not really clear. Okay, and again, this is a bit negative about number 2. That on social media, often with outcomes that we cannot control. So, like, not very positive. Like, it's not a good idea for you to post things on social media. Okay, so this is what you should have done. You should have tried to find this 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4, and then positive or negative. 4 again, it's not very clear. Now, then here it is to the other, so you don't really know where to start. So what I do is I go to C and I do the same thing. Okay, I look at C and I look for this for sure, because Brooks will say something about which one is molesting, and I will try to find this for sure. And perhaps Brooks talks about 4 and 1. Okay, so let's go to C and we do the same thing. Try to mark the information that you find about 1, 2, 3, and 4. So stop the video, do it. I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1. Make sure you've done it. You found again 1, 2, 3, 4 if possible, as we did before. Okay, so this is about the contents. This is more or less positive. Okay, because it's like this may not be, but because they have experience which they consider might be of value to others. So this is like the contents. Okay, are positive. Okay, as I was saying, because it's something that might be valuable. So that is number 1. Then we have here, we have about number 3. It's true, it's a bit of cheating because it says a published diary. Yeah, of course, if it is published, then it's out of your control. Okay, so this is like negative a little bit. Okay, and this says the opposite. It's more ephemeral. Ephemeral is something that disappears easily. So this is a bit different. Okay, this says that published diary forever, and the internet disappears. Okay, so we saw something about this before. This is ephemeral, so it disappears. Okay, and let's see the last one. Number 2 is not very clear. We could say this is a bit negative because social media, it was about disclosing personal feelings. No, this was about personal feelings, and it says that social media in general serve this purpose too, though, so something negative, though they are in many senses more ephemeral. So this is a bit, but it's not really clear, which is the problem with this one. It doesn't really say. Okay, it does say, okay, you have something else here. A diary is a good place to write without reticence, for your eyes only. So this is this person talks about this being positive, so diaries, physical diaries are positive, so we can understand what we said here, that is a bit negative, blogs and social media. So if you had to choose one, I would say that this writer has a negative opinion regarding sharing feelings. Okay, now we go to the next one. The next one is Clarkson. Okay, so Clarkson, we need to find something about negative responses and something about number 2, and if possible about 1 and 3. Okay, so that is Clarkson here. So the same thing, stop the video, do it, try to find all the evidence, and I'm going to give you the mark the evidence in 3, 2, 1. So make sure you've done it, please. This is easy. This is difficult enough, even trying your best. Okay, so something that puts you off. Okay, so the idea of someone reading your information, okay, is enough to put people off. Okay, you see you have negative information and so on here. Okay, so this happens on the internet, therefore people may not want to write in a secret diary. This is what it says. So people don't want to keep a physical diary because of what they see. This is how people react to my feelings. Okay, so you'd say yes here. Number 4, yes. This one says that it does put people off. Okay, then this number 1 would be positive. Okay, because it says these sorts of things that we write, okay, we might gain insights into how we have changed over time, so the contents of this diary may be positive. It's not rubbish. Okay, so this is positive. They have a positive view of the content. And this is about number 2. So the dangers, okay, so I'm not convinced that the dangers of expressing ourselves on social media outweigh the benefits. So that means that it is okay. This one has a positive attitude towards number 2, okay, towards disclosing personal feelings, because this can help you. Okay, so that's what we have. We don't have anything for 3, or not anything that I found about how long they last and so on. Okay, so now since we only have 4 left, or for number, the last one, D, we do the same thing. We know that D will say something about number 2, and then we have to try to find information about 1, 3, and 4. So the same thing, go ahead and see what you can find about 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, I hope you have stopped the video. I'm going to show you the answers in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so this is more or less negative about number 2. So they happily post things on Facebook and so on. So happily, like without caring. So the writer is more or less criticizing because of this. Look at her happily, or look at him happily posting that. So there is some criticism here. Okay. Again, I find this very, very difficult myself. Now this one is clearer. Okay, so this is approval, negative responses. Okay, stop teenagers. So yes, it does stop teenagers. Negative responses, stop teenagers. And then you have something about 1, okay, which is negative. Okay, they discover how little space they gave to what really matters and how much time they gave to the boy. So the contents are negative, like unimportant information. Okay, so now what you have to do is, since you have positive, negative, or yes, no, you have to come here and decide, okay, so who agrees with Janoni? For example, we said A1. I'll do the first one for you. A1. So the information, okay, is negative, rubbish. Number 1 said that it's positive, that it might help. Here number 1 said that it is useful, okay, it might be of value to others. And this one said that the information was unimportant. How little space they gave to what really matters. So the information included is unimportant. Therefore, who agrees with A? Who has a similar view? D. Okay? I hope this one is easy. So this is what you need to do for the other three. Check the information that we've marked, positive, negative, and decide who agrees with whom according to what we've done. Okay, so I'm going to give you, well, I'm going to give you time. Stop it and take the time that you need. Okay, now I will give you the answers. Okay, so I hope you have stopped it. You have written your three answers. If you haven't, please do what I've told you. Write the three remaining answers, and I'm going to give them to you in 3, 2, 1. Not yet? Oh, yes. So B, A, D. Now take the time that you need to try to make sense. Okay, we have D. I explained, I showed you the evidence in A and D. Okay, where the two writers agree because they say something similar. You need to do the same for B, A, and D. Like, understand why this is B, A, and D. So take your time, and I'm going to explain it to you in 3, 2, 1, but please make sure that you try to understand. Okay, so it's not very clear, but the B has a different opinion. B is the only one who says this is useful because Melinda, she doesn't agree that the dangers outweigh the benefits. So she thinks that the benefits of expressing your feelings outweigh. So this one is positive. What we said, this one is, oh, they happily post things on Facebook and Instagram. So this is a bit negative. Like, this person doesn't agree with that, with sharing information. This one was positive for diaries but negative for social media. Okay, it said they are in many senses more ephemeral. Okay, so it was a bit negative. So it suggested using a physical diary, but again, this one is not very clear. Okay, there was something here, sorry. Oh, number 3. This is number 3 because it talks about it being a durable record. Okay, about it lasting. You had this. Okay, the diaries last, whereas social media is more ephemeral. So you have this. So this was like diary, positive, you keep it, and that is like this disappears easily. Okay. So that is what I can tell you for number 2. Oh, okay, this one too. Okay, it said that social media is not a safe place to express your feelings. So this was negative. Now number 3 was A. So this was positive for conventional diaries, negative for digital footprint. And this is the same. Positive, okay. There are those who keep a diary intending it to be a durable record. So this is positive. And here again, 3 positive. Okay, diary is a good place. That's positive. Okay, a published diary is there for posterity and it's said in a positive way. Whereas social media is regarded as something negative, something ephemeral. Okay. I'm sorry. This is okay. Yeah. 3A. I'm sorry, that's why, sorry. I apologize. It is who disagrees because they're saying the opposite. This one is saying that the diary is a durable record, okay? Whereas this one said that the diary, the advantage of the diary is that it can be destroyed. Okay, it's impermanent. So this one says the opposite. It is a durable record. And then this one says that social media is ephemeral, it disappears easily. Okay, it doesn't, no one remembers. Whereas digital footprint, okay, our digital footprint can't be destroyed. So they have different opinions. Okay, they say the opposite. Sorry, I thought they were agreeing. That's why I was like, they don't agree. It's a different opinion. Sorry. And D, I think, was easier. It was Clarkson. Okay. So yes, a secret. This idea of someone ridiculing them puts them off. So it deters them. No, les quita las ganas. And here the same. Justifiable fear that what is out there will remain forever stops teenagers expressing their feelings even in a diary. So yes, Negative responses, prevent them from keeping a diary or deter them. So B and D have the same opinion. So that's it. That's what I can do for you. This is a very difficult reading, so don't beat yourselves up, and I might send you a similar one, okay, so you can practice. Which is also, the other one is also very difficult, but you'll have to practice. Okay, thank you. Bye.